This is Skipson talking to you once again from the Operations Center at my ranch up here in Hardeman County, Texas, right up smack against the Oklahoma border. You may remember that my brand has to do with the Oklahoma border. It's the Lazy SOB brand, and when you see the critters with that brand, you know Skipson's not too far away. I wanted to share a little personal things about me and my right-hand person, Sue Egeneris. Normally you see us performing in the rodeo, and there's a mob of people around us afterwards, and we love to talk to the people and get to know them, but there's just not enough time, and the crowds are so big. So here we go. You may notice that I do not have a hat on today. Normally I wear several hats. Most of them cowboy kind of hats, but I do wear a lot of hats here at the ranch, and I have this beautiful head of white hair, and people comment on it all the time. Sue has commented on it many times, and I just want people to know that I was born with this head of hair. Yes, there was some talk. My mother never did a reveal to me, but there was some talk that she was or had some blood of people from another planet. She was raised on a ranch out in Nevada, near what is now known as Area 51, and there was always some talk about. She was very tall and very fair complected. There was some talk that she wasn't maybe of this earth, but she's gone now, and I'm here. I'm her flesh and blood. There's no doubt about that. And I was born with this head of white hair, and she had white hair too. So I don't know. That's the story about my hair and my mother's hair. I did want to say about my hair, just another little something about it. I've never had it cut. It does grow. It grows sometimes very long. Not shoulder length or anything, but long for a man's hair. And I'll go to bed at night when it's long like that. I'll sleep fitfully and have unusual dreams. And when I awaken, my hair is short again. And there's no hair in the bed or anything, so it's just come back into my head. And that's the way that hair for people like us grows. Mom was the same way. As I mentioned, she passed. She's gone now. She was age 732 when she died, and my dad was of a similar age. So my father also had white hair up until the day he passed away, though he went to barber shops. He went to barbers and had his trimmed. I never knew about Mom. I never saw her at a beauty shop. She never mentioned one, but her hair always looked nice. Sometimes she had it tinted, but basically it was white like mine. I want to talk a little bit about Sue Egeneris. She's in a class by herself, and she got that moniker, the class by herself moniker, one day when she was a young girl, maybe in 3rd or 4th or 5th grade, something like that, maybe high school, I don't know. She was in a 2-room schoolhouse with another 6 or 7 kids in that school. It was a fairly rural area. 2-room schoolhouse, and it's very strange that the kids used to move from class to class. There were 2 teachers, one male and one female, one man and one woman, and they both had red hair. That was an unusual thing. And there was a doghouse outside. One of the male students spent some time literally in that doghouse. I don't know what the whole story is there on that. But anyway, Sue would normally there would be 2 or 3 or 4 children in the class with her, and one day there was a snowstorm. They called it the Big Snow. It was in 1950. It's memorable by anybody who ever lived through it. And one of the teachers could not make it to school. Sue lived close enough she could walk, but she was about the only student, maybe the only student that was there on that day, and one teacher. And of course the teacher has to be in the room to which they are assigned. Their teachers' unions require that. And so Sue started out the day in the classroom with that teacher, but when the bell rang, she had to move to the other room in the 2-room schoolhouse. And she was the only student in there, and there was no teacher or anything like that, so she was in there by herself. She went home that evening, and she talked to her older sister, very nice woman, girl at that time, and she told the story, and this sister said, "You were in a class by yourself, weren't you?" She said, yes, I was in a class by myself. I guess I'm sui generis, in a class by myself. And it's just stuck, and it's been with her ever since. Sue did have some interesting classmates, though the class was very small. The one fellow that I spoke of, he became a surgeon. Just because you're in a two-room schoolhouse doesn't mean you're not going to be somebody important. He became a surgeon. He was an orthopedic surgeon. His father, or perhaps it was his brother, was also a surgeon. You know how doctors sometimes run in families. They help one another get into medical school and so forth. His brother or his father had a horrible accident, a surgical accident. I don't like to go into the details of it, but it was not a pleasant thing. A man lost his manhood, so to speak, and it was not a nice thing. Sue doesn't like to talk about it. Well, she does like to talk about it. It was one of the interesting things from her school days. Another interesting thing was her tap dance partner. She, of course, as many young girls do, she went to tap dancing classes at the Berkeley Hill Fire Hall, and the other girl that was there with her had webbed hands and webbed feet as well. Apparently it did not interfere with her tap dancing, but it was kind of an unusual thing. She kind of kept it covered up a little bit. And my personal feeling is that that early exposure to creatures with webbed limbs and webbed hands and feet was important in Sue's affinity for the animals that we raise on the ranch here. So that's just another little thing about her background. What a wonderful person she is. Well, I will tell you next time about some other members of our staff. There's Gail Opagos and there's Jenny. We'd like to tell you a little bit about them again, so that they're not just little people behind me, you know. I mean, they are, but they aren't. I like to make it like they're somebody. So there you go. This is Skip Skipson signing off now from the Lazy SOB Ranch up in Hardeman County, Texas, near the Oklahoma border. Thank you so much.